Morning Gwinnett Show, hosted by Audrey Bell Kearney, bringing you your daily dose of business and technology to educate, empower, and inspire small business owners. Be sure to subscribe to the show today.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, all my Gwinnetians out there in Gwinnett Land and all of my friends around the world. It's a beautiful day here in Georgia. I'm talking about lovely. It's supposed to get up to almost 80 degrees a day. We love that for us here in Georgia. I'm sorry. Somewhere it's very, very cold, but I can't help that. I do not control the weather. I only control the Good Morning Gwinnett podcast. That's it. I can't control the weather. Hope you guys are having a wonderful start to today. It is Wednesday. It is hump day, baby. You have made it to the MIDDLE. It is the middle. You're almost to the end. And I know somebody saying, thank the Lord. I get it. I get it. I got a great guest today. She is a bookkeeping professionado. She helps people keep their books for their business. She is one of the people that's going to make sure that when it's time for you to file them taxes, everything is in order. But today we're going to be talking about how important bookkeeping is for those of you who are paying so many taxes and overpaying taxes. I bet you don't even know you're overpaying taxes. We're going to find out today that you are, how you can stop doing it, and why you need a bookkeeper. You know, I know a lot of us, I keep my own books. I can keep my own, but I'm the person that'll take a course and go run out and do it myself. Sometimes you can't do that. Sometimes you need a real pro to handle the books and make sure you're doing stuff right. I want to say something else, but I try to keep this a family show. So I'm going to say stuff. Make sure you're doing stuff right. So without further ado, welcome to the stage, Miss Michelle Wilson.
Thank you. I
Good
love that
morning.
introduction. Thank you so much. And hello to everyone. Yes,
You're very
Audrey.
welcome.
Yes, this is that
Listen, people are
time of
still
year.
Oh, well, thank you. People are still struggling trying to get these taxes done before April the 15th. And I know that there are a lot of people who do it themselves. They don't understand the write-offs. They don't understand why bookkeeping is important. So I'm so excited that you have decided to join us today to tell people like what they should be doing, what they need to know, and how even if they're going to do their own bookkeeping, just give them some steps on like what they should be doing, before they get to you. And I know you have a lot of great programs going. She has a really great program that she's starting that's going to walk you through that. But she'll tell you about that. Even if you can't afford her, because she's a pro, you know, even if you can't afford her, she has something for you. So go ahead, Michelle. Introduce yourself. Tell people a little bit about who you are and how you got into this industry.
Sure, sure. So I am Michelle Wilson, and I have actually been in the industry since like 1990. And I started doing taxes. Well, no, let me back it up. I started in banking, and I was always good with numbers. Some way, somehow, I was working, and we all know we work for money when we young. And I went and I took a test for Nassau County. So I was like, oh, we're gonna put the banking and the numbers aside. Working there, of course, I used to, everyone commingles, talks, do everything. We're like, okay, we're gonna go around the corner. We're gonna go to, I can't say the name, and we're gonna have them do our taxes. I always ended up behind the desk doing taxes. And that's when, at that time, my ex husband was like, why do we come here if you know how to do all of this? And that's
Yeah.
where it started. And I started by going to each of my co-workers that work for Nassau County Department of Social Service. That's when we had the real big square computers. I went to them and started doing 5 people per computer because that's what we could do. And next thing you know, I just started getting stuff from the IRS and I started doing taxes. And after that, taxes led back to bookkeeping. It's too much of a long story. I went to school, my associates, my bachelor's, and my master's because I wasn't going to let my kids beat me out. And I got my master's, I believe, in 2010 in accounting, and I worked on Wall Street. We can keep going on for days, but the thing is, I no longer work a 9 to 5. I haven't worked a 9 to 5 in over 10 years. And this is where now we have in and out accounting and business services, headed by me and my team. I have a team because I'm going to talk about that a little too. And my team and I, we make sure we take care of our clients. No one can ever do it alone. Team, collaboration, partnerships is what makes it. So,
Yeah, it's so interesting. I love what you said. You said I've been an entrepreneur for a long time, and for someone that's listening right now, let me just run this down real quick. And I am not saying this to scare you, but I am letting you know that Michelle is an entrepreneur. She's been one for a long time. I've been one for 29 years. This is not easy, but I would
mhm,
not change a thing, right? The only thing I probably would change about my life is to bring my mom back. That's it. But outside of that, I wouldn't change a thing. So, Michelle, first of all, kudos for you for doing this. I could tell you a quick story, and I think I've shared this with you before, but I don't think I've shared it on here. Years
Mm-hmm.
ago, my husband and I were living in North Carolina. He works in pharmaceutical, and they had lost a patent to a drug. So we moved to another state because North Carolina has a big pharmaceutical market industry there. So we moved to where the biggest pharmaceutical industry was, which was in North Carolina. While I was there, I was going to do taxes because I was like, okay, now I have to start over new taxes. And I went to a tax place. I ain't gonna call a name, but I went to this
Mm-hmm.
tax place, giving classes and all this stuff. And I was like, great. So I'm in there doing the class, and they just kind of just threw me in there. And I came home and I said to my husband, now I'm just saying this. I don't know about other folks. I'm just talking about the folks I know about, which is black folks. I said to my husband, they're about to make me mess up these people money, and they're gonna be pissed off at me and ready to fight because I know black folks when it comes to their money. And I was like, I can't work with this. It was a franchise, and
Mm-hmm.
my goal was to buy a franchise and all this stuff, but I needed to get trained first. I said to my husband, no, sir, I'm not about to be here fighting with folks about their money because this company right here is about to make me mess up folks' money. And so I stopped doing it. But I wish I had kept going, but I just couldn't find reputable people. Then I tried to work with some people who, had tax companies, and I just couldn't find reputable people because I like the financial industry. I like understanding money and things like that. So that's my little spiel about that. But you have been doing it, and I'm sure you have seen all types of people who are trying to do it. Let's talk about the people who are trying to do this business. And then we're gonna get to the business owners to show them like what they're doing wrong. But let's talk about the professionals first.
Okay. So now you said you couldn't work with certain people, you didn't know who to work with. This world that we living in now, and the tax industry and the bookkeeping industry is very iffy. I'm going to call it because we on Good
Mhm.
Morning America, and I'm telling you, do your research on anybody. Even me, if you're sitting here listening to me, the first thing you should have did is went and Googled me, went on Facebook to see who I was, to see what I know. I do step further. I don't want to know what you did over the last 4 months. I go through your Facebook page, your LinkedIn page, and I go back about a whole 6 months to see in a year sometime. Was you doing this last year? Or did you just start doing this? What's your
Mhm.
credentials? What are you doing? What are you saying on social media? Just that says, okay, Michelle, this is someone that I should go try. Make sure you do your homework. Okay, even those that are coming in trying to be tax professionals, they are getting beat, money not being paid to them. Like I said, this world that we live in has changed, and
Yeah.
it's always been about money, but it's really money hungry now, and everybody has to be on top. Everyone wants to be a leader, but meanwhile you have to be led before you become a leader, and people don't understand that. So I'm
Absolutely.
telling
And I was
you.
trying to be led, but I was telling you, my leaders were doing a bad job and they were leading me into trouble. And I was like, absolutely cannot do this. So Michelle, you help a lot of pros, and it's a lucrative industry. Like I did my research when I first started. Back then, you could Google, but nobody was Googling people back. Because I'm talking a minute ago. I'm not talking like two
Yeah.
years ago. I'm talking about probably 20 years ago. Literally probably 20 years ago. Um so it wasn't like Google somebody and find out information about them because nobody was SEOing themselves and optimizing this and keywording that. They weren't doing those things. And if they were, they didn't know they were. Um, but there are a lot of professionals out there who are representing themselves as pros, and they're really being detrimental to small businesses who don't know because they only know what they know, right? They don't know that, they don't understand like the tax industry. They don't understand like how the books should be kept. So you got people out there representing themselves as pros, but being very damaging to small businesses who don't know. So what you said for small businesses to do the research on the person they're going to be working with. What else can they do? Is there like a regulatory, should a bookkeeper and a tax preparer have like badges on their site that says Better Business Bureau certified by this one? Because some of those things you have to have like these different little certifications and things on your site. You don't have to, but it's like helpful. what
Mhm.
what could they look for?
Well, I'm going to tell you the truth about all of these in both ways. Number one, for the taxes, there are some tax professionals that you might not see no credentials at all. I want to say that first. And meanwhile, they may be great. There are CPAs and they're all enrolled agents. I am an enrolled agent, but a badge is just a badge. I'm telling you that this is what I believe. There are some CPAs that are good at taxes. There are some that maybe if they specialize in bookkeeping. Then others may specialize in resolution or tax planning. You have to find out what that person specializes in. Just
Mhm.
because someone has those initials behind their name, in this day and age, you don't mean anything because I can get off of here and I can go and put initials behind my name and they won't mean anything. I can sit here and I can go pay to get DR behind my name also. I don't
Girl,
know.
when I found
There's
that out,
a lot of different
I
things
don't mean
being
to
done.
cut you off, but when I found that out, Michelle, I was like, say what now? That one, that particular one. When I found out you could just pay to get the DR, like just it's like what? Okay, anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry, I digress.
It's okay. So now for I'm gonna speak on for bookkeeping, and you got people that get QuickBooks. So I want you to understand that bookkeeping and QuickBooks go hand in hand. But just because someone has a pro advisor certificate does not mean that they understand bookkeeping. It's
Mhm.
software. So someone can understand the software, but if they don't know the rules of bookkeeping, they can mess you up. I've been seeing a lot of that going on. I have like if I can I have maybe about 5 people that have come to me just maybe in the last 2 weeks. And I'm doing 2 years, 3 years. So I'm getting people that have books done and I'm looking at negatives or minuses. I mean negatives are positives and positives are negatives. And I'm like, who did this? And there's one person that's a CPA, and I'm like, did this to your books? And I'm one of those that advocate for small business owners because if someone has paid you 25,000 to keep their books up, you messed them up. Now they got to come back to me. Oh, we going after you because I want them to be able to pay me, and it's not fair. And this is what's happening to a lot of business owners, which is why they are afraid and they don't know who they should go to.
Yeah.
I frown on spreadsheets, but I want to make sure you understand what I mean when I say spreadsheets. There are some software systems that are out there now that take your bank account and they just throw it in a software system and it kicks out different information. There's nothing wrong with those software systems. Just make sure the end user knows what they're doing when they're using them. I tell people to go on a software. I use QuickBooks. There's zero. There's other software companies out there, but everyone knows that QuickBooks is monopolizing the industry right now. So why is everyone mimicking QuickBooks? Because they must be doing something right. Then some people talk about the cost of QuickBooks, and but I wish the young lady was in on here watching. And before we even got started, just right on our call, I saved her like $3,000 just on a phone call because she had the wrong software. I
Mm.
mean, excuse me, not software, subscription. So this is what I mean. The person got to be knowledgeable. But meanwhile, she was already going to somebody else that didn't tell her, like, what can you change to? What can make you save money? So another issue, and now we're going into some of the stuff before you start bookkeeping. Then you have business owners. You see their taxes. They got net thousand of like 80, 90,000. I met with
So now,
a
explain
bookkeeper.
what that means because a lot of people listening, they don't know what a net thousand is. What does that mean?
So your income less your expenses is your net income. All right. So
Mhm.
you got your gross income, and a lot of people when they do taxes, you got tax papers that's writing off everything. So then you're negative to help you lower your income so you can get earn income for a refund. But guess when you get ready to go buy a house or a car, they're like, well, you don't make no money. It says it's negative. You want to have a positive net income because that means that your business is doing well. You're making money in your business. And the whole aspect of anyone that's in a business, I hope is to make money. I know I'm in it to make money. That's the first reason. Some people don't want to say it. Oh, I am 100% in it to make money, but I also want to make sure that I'm helping someone else make money and making their
Right.
life easier. So that is what your net income is. And the young lady I met with yesterday. See, I'm telling you, every day, when people are like, why are you on calls? I'm like, this is killing me. My whole thing is I have to speak with a person first. She's joining my elite bookkeeper coaching program that we'll talk about later. And she has a few clients coming in. that own homes. And she was like, yeah, well, one of them has like 90,000. The other one has more. They have this and that income, and they got to pay all this money in taxes. And I'm like, well, what's their entity? Oh, they're LLC. I said, that's it. And I said, what tax strategies do they have? Okay, right there. Help them. That's enough. Again, for the end person, that's the bookkeeper, that helps them help the client, and they make money and the client saves in taxes. You help two things. This is before the bookkeeping, before you start somebody. I
So,
hear
so
you
let
want
me
to say
ask you this. Yeah, let me ask you this. So, the title of the show is "How to Stop Overtaxing, Paying Overpaying Taxes as a
something.
business owner." If you have given your books over to a professional and you don't know anything about anything, you just know that, hey, these are my receipts, here's my P&Ls, here's my stuff, make sure I'm right. And if their thought process is the professional, we're gonna make sure that they don't overpay, right? So we're gonna write off everything. If they don't tell that person, that should they be telling the person, hey, I need to show that I made this amount of income, and I don't need to show losses, like massive losses, because I know that down the line I may need to go to a credit union and get a line of credit. But if I'm showing zero in net profit, do they need to have that conversation with that person, or should that person be coming and them saying that as a professional?
Well, and this is when it comes to why don't you have bookkeeping? Because you're entrusting on a tax professional to help you with bookkeeping. That's not how it should be. If that tax professional does not know bookkeeping, to be quite honest, they business owners, you all don't want to hear this, but this is your fault. Because
Hmm.
if you are in business, you all should be taking some kind of financial class. They have them all over, they're free. You don't have to know how to use QuickBooks. You need to know how to read your books. You need to know that every single month you need to be looking at them. Not just having a bank account and just going every month and not knowing what's going on. You need to look at your books every single month, see how much income you made, and how much expenses you've used up, because that's when you can figure out, oh, is this really a business or is it a hobby? You want to look at it. Every single business owner should take a course every year to talk to them about how to read your financials, how to look at your bank statement, how to look at everything. Even the bank tells you what your cash flow is, but you probably ignore it. But
Hmm.
you gotta do something yourself to understand. And then when you get your taxes, look at them. Look at your taxes. Excuse me, I have something in my eye. But look at your taxes. You can look at that form and the words that tell you advertising, banking. If you read over all the lines, if something doesn't make sense to you, you should know that. That stands right out. So
Yeah. So, Michelle, a lot of small businesses, especially solopreneurs, I talk to a lot of solopreneurs who are part of the Gwinnett Women's Chamber. Shout out to the Gwinnett Women's Chamber. If you don't know who we are, please visit us at gwinnettwomenschamber.com. um a lot of them are solopreneurs, and they really don't understand that they should be looking at the books, because they're really out there trying to drive the business. And so what do you suggest to the overworked solopreneur who's, my whole goal is to get the business running, making the money, take care of the kids, take care of the husband, wash the dishes? They have a lot of hats, and they know at the end of 2026, they need to go and take these box receipts to a tax professional and get their taxes done. In between that is the bookkeeping part of it. And that's the part where they don't have the time or the wisdom or the knowledge to do. What could they do as solopreneurs so that they don't overpay in taxes? What should they be paying attention to? And if they cannot afford a professional, what softwares can be helpful?
okay, you gave me like four different things to answer,
I know
right?
that's a loaded question, right? I was saying that's a loaded question.
Okay, so if you're too busy, they tell you when you create your business, there are certain things that you should do in the very beginning. We all know that you should create your business formation, whether it's sole prop, LLC, corporation, and so on. You should get your EIN next. Next becomes your bank account. Hopefully, you register yourself on Dun and Bradstreet. You get the insurances you need for your business, and you get bookkeeping. That that's what you should do, because if you don't know about it, why skip over it? Because skipping over it can have you owing the IRS and the state government. So the thing is, if you first get into business, take a course of getting into business. They have them all over, and you will understand that bookkeeping is the main reason why most businesses close. So you should make sure that you have some kind of bookkeeping. Now, let me explain to you about bookkeeping. I don't think anyone that's not a bookkeeper should manage their books. That's my opinion, because if you don't understand it, how can you really know if you're doing it right or wrong? There are a lot of softwares that you can input your information in, and it will kick you out a spreadsheet. You take the spreadsheet, you just give it to somebody. Where are you doing your due diligence? You are completely dependent on that software that you probably barely know how to work. Affordability. Now, most tax professionals that I know start their bookkeeping at, we have a spot, 300, 650. I have, for solopreneurs, a $150 a month program. That is less than $50 a week in your business. You should, there should be no reason why you can't pay that to get your business situated, because you're going to end up paying way more than that if you do it wrong and you go file your taxes. So then let's say, okay, I can't do that. I don't have that many transactions. I can't speak on no one else, but this is why I created the DIWM, which is do DIY bookkeeping with me, where you can come in, and I have current co-working spaces that you can come in and say, okay, this is what we're going to do this week. This is what we need help in. Let's have an evening, and this is me just changing up a little bit, an evening where we can get together and say, okay, we should all go through our books together, make sure it's all done for the month, and then I'll see you again next month. Or what should I do this month to make sure that I have it ready for the following month? It's like I'm there to guide you for $56 a month. You have to do something. Doing nothing messes you up. So, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
and it's funny because I made that program for business owners, but tax professionals or who are taking advantage of it. Come on, business owners, $56 a month, but you got to pay
You see,
attention.
I think it's because they don't understand. Like, I think even when I talk to some of them about the program, I think that they don't understand like what you were saying, because I've talked to people and they're
Mhm,
like, yeah, I don't understand it. Then you got people who are definitely afraid of numbers. So
mhm.
just the thought of looking at a number gives them migraines. So you got those people, but they need the service. So I want you to break this down. So the
Okay.
$56 a month, there's a group meetup where you get together and you walk through the books. And are they doing this manually? Are they doing it on some type of software? Are you doing reviews of P&Ls? What does that look like? And then how does that help them so that they can stop overpaying on taxes?
So that's not going to help that. And this is where it comes in, why you doing this on your own. Because right now, the only thing you can learn to do, and one, I do everything on QuickBooks. You need to learn how to set up your QuickBooks. Then you have to learn what you have to do on a weekly basis, not monthly. You're just getting into the business. You need to know how to categorize correctly. Did you upload all your statements? Did you put personal information in and you did not mean to? And it's funny that you said the thing about not understanding, because I know that they don't understand. So I was like, what can I do differently? And I'm going to change it to more of, this is what we're going to do, because they don't know what they're supposed to do. And
Mm-hmm.
now that you look, and I'm like, okay, so they really don't even understand what they are supposed to be doing, period.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
you have to make sure that you can get into these. And most business owners, they work day jobs, and some of them may have their whole business. It all depends on the structure of that person and what time they have. So those are different questions about the program that I have for them. But you got to be invested. That means if you get an email or a text and you don't answer it, that's I hate to say it, that's on you. You got to be
Yeah, I
ready
think
to invest in your business and say, okay, if there is a group, let's not be shy and say, okay, I don't know what we got to do, but I'm not going to ask that question. You have to ask.
I think too when I think about the program because I when you first mentioned it, I thought it was a great program. I think I don't even think you should ask them a question. I think you like look number one open the laptop, number two do this number because I feel like people are not going to ask the questions because they're afraid to ask questions
Oh
and
my
you have to
gosh.
just lead it. They hate to
Mhm.
ask questions. Like I've seen people. I'm sitting in a training. I'm training. And then once I'm done and I'm ready to go, because I'm done, I'm burnt out. Because by the time I do a brain dump on anything I train on, I'm pretty much done. My head is fried because I'm thinking, I'm answering questions. When it's over, it's over. I don't want to answer no questions. People will wait as good till I get finished and they got 10 questions because nobody's listening. And I'm thinking, bro, we were just in a class like that. So they're not going to do that. So when I think about, especially people that I know who have shown up, they're not going to ask you a question. They're not going to
Mhm.
ask a question. They're going to leave that confused. They're going to think that it doesn't work because they didn't ask the question. So in my mind, I'm thinking you just start teaching. Don't ask them nothing. Just teach because if you just teach, it doesn't leave room for anything. Then the questions come as you teach. But if you ask them anything,
They don't.
girl, I'm trying to tell you, it. I feel like it's gonna be great, but you have to just go in there and pop the laptop open and start teaching them. Open up your laptop, put in your social security number, go to this place. That's how I had to learn how to teach people because if I tried to ask questions about, and I give you a prime example, we did your talk, right? We did
Mm-hmm.
your talk. I specifically said, why did you come here? Nobody
Yes.
said they came for the money aspect. I'm
They
new
had
to the
no
town.
idea. Mm-hmm.
No, thinking, okay, so
I
you
heard
just
it.
you just came here to sit here and talk. I'm new. I'm just trying to figure it out. I just showed up. It was crazy. But that's why I do that because I personally, I'm a stickler for being on time. I'm a stickler for not wasting time. I'm just a
Mm-hmm.
stickler for those type of things. So me, I'm thinking, well, we don't want to waste a lot of time giving them something they don't really want. Well, they didn't even come for anything. So then it was just free fall. It was like, okay, well, let's just talk about whatever because nobody came here for the reason that we brought Michelle here. They didn't come for that. So I feel like because you know why you brought them there and they know why those people kind of know why they came. Just start. Don't ask them no questions. Just teach, girl. Just teach them. Just pop
Oh
out
no,
your
the
we
other day
we
wasn't
got
that
two
wasn't for
hours. You don't
teaching.
have
Yeah,
no
you
time
want
to
to get
chat
to know them.
because they're gonna throw you completely off. And I'm not saying that to be like mean or anything. I just find that when I do that, when I've done it over the years, and I've been teaching for so many, probably 20 or 29 years, if you give if you give people the opportunity to ask a question up front, they won't do it. They're not gonna do it. And what I also found is that people just don't know what they don't know.
Depends on the audience. So I'm a beg to differ because I do have some people that are there. We get on, we work through everything. We're gonna work on it. Are you set up? Let's get everybody set up, and we go and we get them set up. You got to come to the meeting first to get into
No,
anything.
I'm not saying
And
everybody's like that, but a lot of them are. A lot of them won't ask questions. A lot of them are going to sit there. They're going to feel lost. A lot of them are. Some of them aren't though. Like
then
if I got there, it's like, look, I'm ready to get started. You ain't got to tell me, but like, girl, this is what we're gonna do. I'm like, okay. But a lot of them aren't like that.
so this is when you gotta come into class ready to work. And you have to come in ready to work. You have to, if you know you're coming to do a class, you have to have your computer. You have to have your books ready. You have to have your passwords. You need to have your passwords so that you can get into your accounts that you need. Because that's another thing is if you do not come prepared, I can't even help you anyway because we can't do anything because you're not prepared. Then it's like, well, what do I need? So 15-minute phone calls, you always can just jump on, look, I got a call, or you can schedule a call. If you get emails and texts, so I do both, what should you bring? What should you have? You know you have class on Thursday. Wednesday, we probably should be checking your email, check text to see if you got anything that you know that you should bring to class, and then see if there's class and this class online. When is class online? If the whole thing about a business owner is, even if someone is teaching, if I can only tell you, we have conversation as tax professionals. There are a number of us talk, and we have classes that we offer like $1,500. People pay, and sometimes they don't show up. So you paid
Mhm.
all this money to not show up, to not understand, to not ask questions. I hate to say this, but we are not kids. You are a business owner. If you are going to be a business owner, you have to step up. I can't want it, or no one else can want it more than you do. And then you ask those questions. And if that's not you, you should not be doing your own books. That's where the clear examples, and then it goes to, but I can't afford to. Yes, you can. Because if you don't pay it now, you will pay it later, where you pay penalties, your interest, or your tax payments. A lot of people and business owners don't know that they're supposed to be paying estimated taxes on the money they make. Every quarter,
Mhm.
you're supposed to pay those estimated taxes. It's not a hard calculation either. Your income less your expenses, and then there's a rate. You're supposed to pay this. People don't pay it because they don't know about it, and they
Let me
just go
ask
on
you this.
doing their books. Hmm.
Let me ask you this. So you said you supposedly paying estimated taxes quarterly.
Yes.
By not paying those taxes quarterly, could they be overpaying on taxes at the end of the year because of that?
No. I mean, sorry, let me say this right. Not because of not paying the estimated taxes, it's because they're not doing analysis of their bookkeeping to see if they're missing out on deductions or other expenses. Now, if you owe more than $1,000 at the end of a tax year, you have to pay estimated taxes. If you don't, you're penalized. A lot of people don't even know that, and that increases your taxes also. Because the thing is, if you're making money, just think of somebody that has a regular W 2 job. They have to pay taxes on the money they are making. I don't understand why business owners are like, well, why am I not getting a refund? Where are you paying taxes? You have to pay taxes. And most business owners that are profitable, we don't get refunds. We try to fight to make sure that we don't owe any taxes. Now, there are other factors like kids and credits and deductions that will help you. But business owners, you most of the time, if you are profitable, you don't get a refund. You're making
Yeah,
money
yeah.
unless you
I've never gotten a
overpay. I mean, if you
I've never gotten a
overpay, that's
refund for my
good.
business.
Mm-mm. And when you do estimated taxes, the whole thing, you're not going to give the IRS extra money to hold for you. No, you pay what's due.
I can tell you this: one year, my husband and I filed together, and my business expenses actually kept him from being on the IRS because I had so many. So we just it was a
You was
clean slate for
negative.
both. Like, we both good. Not a
Yeah,
dime came
net
back,
source.
but we were both good. Like, there was nothing owed to the IRS because of it. Because that particular year, I spent a lot of money. I didn't even know it. And when they did the taxes,
Because
he
you
made
have
a lot of money. I spent a lot of money. But because I spent so much and he made so much, it was offset. So it really saved us that year from actually on the IRS. So, those little things like that helps you and your family structure when you think about it that way, you know, because when you think it had it not been for me, I wouldn't own anything. But him by himself, yeah, he would have. Uncle Sam would have been knocking at our front door because of that. So that helped balance out our structure. I know you got another event, something else you have to do today, but the you're doing a networking event tonight. Is that the networking event or is that the actual class tonight?
no. Everything is networking. It's
Okay.
networking, and then there is a business roundtable that is going to be tonight. So networking is from 5:30 to 7. Everyone is more than welcome to stay for the business roundtable. There is no structured class because of everyone needs to get into class before there is a structured
Yes.
class. And
Okay.
that's what I want to get started, where I want to find out what business owners really want to learn how to do this. So you can say, yeah, I want to do it because I created QuickBooks for how many people? It had to be about 20 people. The QuickBooks is created. Now you got to do the next step.
Yeah,
You
I think what you're saying is great because I feel like the people that were there, and there was a lot of them. Some people came, they were like me. I thought it was networking, so I didn't bring my laptop. It was like then some other folks thought it was fellowship, so they came to fellowship. They didn't bring. It
Mhm.
was so funny that first night. It was like we just came to fellowship, and I was like, well, I came to network, and then other folks like put the laptop out. I'm like, well, what you came for?
That's
It was
because
hilarious in my mind.
they
It was
read the email. That's why they read the email and they read the text. And where it
they
says,
did, and
make
so
sure you
yep.
bring your
So it was
information.
so it was so funny. So it was like it was just weird because we had and the way the room was set up, it was set up where the fellowship people was on the left side. And this wasn't intentional. This is how it's set up. All the fellowship people sat on the left side. All the people ready to do work was on the right. And then the rest of us was at the back. It was hilarious. And I was like, okay, so this is weird. But so tonight is networking. What can they come to network and take part in the round table?
Yeah, so they want to come to Cornerstone Co-working, and that is in Lawrenceville, Georgia. It is on East Krogan Street. You can actually go on my social media, or you can just Google Michelle Wilson, and I swear everything is coming up. If you go to my website, michelleawilson.com, the event is listed there. You can also go to iamMichelleTheAccountant.com. They all lead to the website. If you let page down, you'll see all the events that are open. And the only thing you have to do is register for that event. So tonight, even during the business roundtable, that's that question that I'm going to ask them as well. Do you want to manage your bookkeeping or do you want to pay someone to do your bookkeeping? And I want to explain to them what is involved in doing your own bookkeeping and even being in the DIWM program. You want to make sure that is for you. There is a portion of it is that is mostly online, and then I added the in person just for a number of people. But I need more than 4 people to do an in person version. That's why so many people do classes online because in person, a lot of people don't show up. So if you don't
Yeah.
show up, neither am I. But if you show up online in your online classes, then we get online and whatever you're ready to do and you want to work with, we work with. And then twice a month, not this month because you know it's busy tax season, but twice a month, jump into any of those online programs that we have. We have workshops that will discuss different things. Every single month, I do an ABCs of bookkeeping. If you don't understand and you're just getting into it, sign up. I'm gonna say it again, sign up for that course so you can learn about is what is bookkeeping, what is cash basis, what is income, and what's the difference between income and revenue, or is there a difference? You have to understand some of it before you get started, but you got to show up. If you don't show up, please, I'm pretty sure most of us that teach, we're not going to show up if you don't. But if you show up, I will give you a lot of gems. Go ahead,
So
lady.
Michelle, is there a ebook that they can do as a prerequisite to before they take the class? Like there like a download that they can say, okay, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna study it before I actually come to take the class next month, so I can be. I'm just asking a question because some people just may want to just get a head start. Nope, got to come to class. Okay,
I don't do
Michelle,
any
and
ebook. I am a hands-on training person. I can give everybody ebooks for days. People pay $2,500 for bookkeeping courses, and then they end up in my class afterwards. The whole
yeah,
thing is bookkeeping is not an ebook reading thing. Now I have a number of ebooks on my website that you can go into. One of them, like I said, the ABCs of bookkeeping. You actually only have to fill out a form for me, and that comes to you automatically. So if that's what you're talking about, those they get. You fill out the
yeah,
form, it comes to you automatically. That's just free of
yeah.
charge
That's
just for booking with me. But
yeah. That's what I was talking
that
about. I was
doesn't
talking about
teach you
something like
much.
that.
Yeah,
Hmm?
that doesn't teach you much. It doesn't tell you about the program. It tells you about the things that you should have done when you opened your business and things that you need to realize about your business. But
Okay,
there
cool.
are a number of ebooks on my website. Once you go in, you can just go to the shop area, and there are a number of ebooks, especially those for deductions. People always ask, what can they deduct? They actually don't even ask what you can't deduct, but I got an ebook for both to help them, because what you really need to know about is what you can't deduct in business, and deduct everything else.
All right. Listen, guys, hope you found this helpful tonight. 279 West Krogan Street, the Cornerstone Co-working Space. We'll be there at 5:30. Come out, you network. You're going to do a round table, take part, bring business cards, all of the good stuff, all of the things. Come out and enjoy. I'll be there tonight because I saw it in my email, in my
There you
text message.
go. Yes,
I saw
good.
it in
I'm
my
so
text
glad you
message. I
did.
won't miss it tonight. So I'll be there networking tonight. You guys can come out too. It's a great event. Like, are you going to have the pinwheels?
Yes, I am going to have
Michelle,
the pinwheels.
Michelle
Yes.
buy these pinwheels, y'all. And so I've been fiending for them. I went to Publix. I was talking to him to my husband. I said, "Man, them pinwheels are so good." So I go to Publix because I thought that's where she got them from. I was like, "They're not in here. I don't know where she got them from. She got
I'm
them from
not
Sam's. They
telling.
were
I'm not
delicious."
telling. I'm going
But
to tell
listen,
my
come out
people.
tonight, 279 West Krogan Street, Cornerstone Co-working, parking on the side of the building, parking across the street behind the bank. So if you are trying to figure out where you're going to park, it's free parking on the side. If you get there early enough, and there's free parking in the parking lot behind the bank that's sitting directly on the corner of Culver and West Krogan. Just go into the parking lot. Now, granted, it's a beautiful evening and it is hump day. So you might have to look for a park because it's going to be gorgeous tonight. So if you have to look for a park, give yourself some time so you don't be late. Give yourself some
Yeah.
time. I'm telling you, downtown Lawrenceville gets really busy on beautiful days, and today's supposed to be a beautiful day. So if you know it starts at 5:30, you may want to be down there at least by 4:55 so you can look for a park. I'm just telling you the truth,
Ooh,
okay? All right. Michelle, thank you again for being my guest. I hope this was
thank
helpful to
you.
somebody. I will see you this evening at 5:30.
Yes, and I love to see everyone else while we whine about our businesses. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day. Thank you
You're
again,
welcome.
Audrey.
All right, you're welcome. Hey guys, listen, be sure to subscribe to the show. Listen, it's free. Do and share with two people, not one, two. It's free. Subscribe to the show. So if you listen to the show on podcast, on Spotify, Apple, wherever you're listening to it at, subscribe to it and share with two friends. I'll be back again next week with another great guest. Until next time, my friends. Until next time, make it a great day. Bye, everybody.
You've been watching or listening to the Good Morning Gwinnett Show, hosted by Audrey Bell Kearney, Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to the show today and share it with your friends by going to www.goodmorninggwinnett.com.